All right, and just to fix the error that Xcode is going to throw at us in the API caller, we're going to change all of this from movie to title. And over here, trending title response. Okay, and the TV as well is going to be a title. Basically, it's just removing the old name, passing the new one. It's really simple. Okay, just a second, please. I believe that's the last one for the top rated, and we can just build and run to see that if everything is working. And indeed, yes, everything is working. And yeah, one last thing that we need to do, we have made the enumerator, or basically our enum for the API error over here, and we haven't used that already. So instead of passing a normal error, I'm just going to pass my API error and failed to get data. I'm going to copy that actually, and instead of just printing the error, I'm going to pass in a failure so that we can handle that from our home view controller. So instead of each print statement inside a catch block, we can just remove that and instead add the completion with a failure API failure to get the data. Okay, so what we need to do now is just go ahead to the views folder and create a new file. This is going to be a CocoaTouch class. We're going to create a new collection view cell. Let me just call that title collection view cell, and that is going to be the cell that is responsible for handling everything inside the collection view instead of the default collection view cell that we get with the collection view. So let me just go ahead and press next, create. Yeah, it's just an old file. You're not going to see that. So right in here, I'm just going to type static let identifier, and let me just copy the name of the class over here, and we're just gonna need to initialize that with the normal frame. And over here, let me pass also the required initializer so that we avoid having any errors. And yes, everything is set up regarding the cell right now. The only thing that we need is that we just need an image view so that we can pass the poster in it. So right over here, let me just try private let poster image view. And that is going to be a type UI image view. Let me just use the anonymous closure pattern. Let image view is going to be equal UI image view, return image view. And over here, we just need to say image view.content mode scale aspect fill. Okay, so regardless the size or the aspect ratio of the poster that we get, we make sure that we fill the entire cell that we have here in the collection view. And over here, I just need to add this. So content view dot add subview poster image view, and I'm not going to use actually the auto layout for this. It's just simple as laying the frame of the view as the whole or the entirety of the content view. So let me just go ahead and say layout subviews super.layout subviews. Make sure to include that line, and also add poster image view. The frame is gonna be equal content view dot bounds. Okay, and that's it regarding the collection view cell. Yeah, one more thing that we need to add is actually a third-party library that is going to help us cache the retrieved poster or the image that we get from the internet. So let me just go ahead and open Safari, and let me introduce you to another third-party package that we're going to use in our project, which is basically Swift SD Whip image. And you can go over here into the GitHub page we're going to use the Swift package manager. So as you can see here, the package.swift file is included, so that means that we can use that without Cocoa Touch. So let me just go ahead and copy the link for this GitHub repository. Let me just go ahead to Xcode file, add packages, and as you can see here, since I've added this package already, it is cached inside the Swift package manager. But for your case, you're just gonna need to paste that over here, and as you can see here, it got you the SD web image already, so you can tap add package, and Xcode is just going to fetch the required code from the GitHub repository. It's just not going to take much time, as you can see here. Alright, so Xcode finished getting the code from the GitHub repository. So just one thing that we need to do before adding the package, we just need to make sure that we check both the SD web image and the SD web image map kit, and then add that package. And as you can see here inside the targets, you see the Netflix clone, SD web image. So that means that those packages are targeted for our project over here. So let me just go back to my title collection view cell. Let me import the SD web image, and inside here, each time we dequeue a cell in our collection view cell, we just need to have an update function so that we can update the poster for each cell with the models that we have in the home view controller. So let me just go ahead and define a public function this time. So public function configure with model, and for now we're just gonna pass a string for now. Alright, so basically this model of data type string for now is just going to hold the URL for the poster that we're looking for. So basically we're just gonna have to type poster.sd set image, and we're going to set that image with a URL. So let me just go ahead and find my URL. It's gonna be equal to URL from string. Let me for now pass the model. Okay, I believe this is going to be a guard URL else return, because it's just going to give us an optional URL. And over here I'm going to pass the URL, and for the completion I just need to pass nil. Okay, so we are set up over here. So let me just go back to my home view controller, and in this part of tutorial we're going to be viewing the view models right now, because we don't actually need to pass the entirety of the title model. We just need maybe the poster path over here. We don't need the ID, the media type, or anything from here right now. Let me just go ahead back to my home view controller, and let me see here the APIs that we have. So as you can see here, we have 5 API calls. The last one is the get Tomb Raider in the upcoming movies, and basically those are the API calls that we're going to be using to fetch the data from the database to feed the table view cells that we have. Okay, so basically this is not how we're going to be fetching actually the data from the API. We want every single section to handle its own calls. So let me just go ahead and delete the fetch API data from here. And also let me delete the call for the method. And one last time, I just want to go to the API caller, and I want to make sure that I'm passing the results back instead of just printing them. So let me just copy the completion handler over here, and let me pass this in every single API call. So we're done with the API caller right now. So let me just go back to my home view controller, and let me just go on the top of the home view controller class, and let me define a new enum. I'm going to call that sections, and that is going to have a row value type of int. I'm going to define my cases over here, so basically trending movies, and that's going to be equal to 0. case trending TV, and that is going to be equal to 1. Basically, I believe it was the popular, and that's going to be equal to 2. Case upcoming 3, and the last one is going to be top rated, and that is going to be equal to 4. So basically those are the 4 cases or the 4 sections that we're going to have over here. Okay, so since we've created a title collection over here, that is our cell, let me just go back to the collection view actually that is going to be handling each cell over here. And instead of just registering a UI collection view.self over here, I just need to delete that, and instead I'm going to pass in the title collection view cell that I have created actually. Instead of the identifier, I can just access this by the name of the class .identifier. So right now I have the title collection view cell over here. All right, and instead of just dequeuing a normal cell, let me just delete that and make that from the beginning. So guard-let cell is going to be equal to collection view cell dot dequeue with reusable identifier, which is basically title collection view cell dot identifier. And over here I'm just going to pass the index pass as title collection view cell, else we're just gonna return a normal collection view cell over here. And basically I'm going to return the cell, and as you can see here, basically we have access to the configure method that we made earlier. Okay, so basically something else that we need to do here, we're just gonna have to initialize a private var titles. That is going to be an array that is going to hold our titles, and I'm going to initialize that array actually to be an empty array for now. All right, okay, so and then I'm going to make a new configure with function over here just to feed the titles that we get for each section in this array. So let me just go here, type configure with titles, and that is going to be an array of title. All right, and inside that we're just going to reference the titles array that we have and basically pass in the titles that we get for each section. All right, so let me just go back to my home view controller over here. Let me just scroll down. Yes, this is the one. So basically right now we have an access to a new function, which is basically the titles, and we are going to pass in the titles that we get over here. But we're just going to switch first on this section. So let me just type switch index path dot section, and right here we're going to handle the cases for each section. So let me just type the cases that we have: case sections dot trending movies, case sections dot trending TV, case sections popular, case sections dot upcoming, and the last one case sections dot top rated. So basically those are the 4 cases that we're going to handle. So in each case over here I just need to basically it's not just trending movies, so basically we need the raw value which we have assigned when we actually initialize our enumerator over there. So raw value dot raw value over here and here as well. So basically let's just handle the first case that we have. So for the first case that we have, we just need to make the API call. So API caller dot shared get trending movies, and I just need the result over here. And on the result as well, I'm going to switch one more time. So switch result case success. I'm just going to receive the titles, And over here, I just want to pass the results that we have to my cells. So I configure cells, and that configure method expects to receive an array of titles. So basically, array over here. And over here, I'm just going to handle the other case, which is basically going to be the failure. So let error. And over here for now, I'm just going to print the error, localized description. All right. So basically we have handled the first one. So let me handle the second one over here. Okay, API caller dot share dot trending TVs result. Okay, just a second. And I'm going to switch one more time on the result. Case success, let titles. I'm just going to pass it with the configure method. All right. And the other case is going to be the failure. Same thing, error. And for now, I'm going to print the error. All right. And the other one is going to be the same, API caller share dot popular, and the result. I'm going to switch on the result for the get popular. Case success. I'm going to receive the titles. I'm going to pass the titles over here. And the other case, I believe you know right now what we're going to be doing. Let error. Okay, print the error, localized description. We have 2 more to go, so let's just API caller shared in the upcoming. I'm going to get the result. I'm going to switch on the result, as you can see here. Okay, so case success, let titles. I'm going to pass that to with the configure method as well. Case failure, let error. Alright, so just print the error. And one last time we're going to do that for the top rated. So let me just go ahead and okay, API caller.share.top rated. I'm going to receive a result. Let me switch on the result one last time. Case success, let titles. I'm going to pass the titles for the cell. All right, one more to go. Case failure, let error, and let me just print the error over here. All right, and we just need to see what we have here. Basically, we have an error that Xcode is throwing at us because the switch block must be an exhaustive. So let me just go ahead and fix that really quick. All right, and let me see over here. So basically, it adds a default case. So let me just go ahead and just return what I believe is going to be a table view cell. So yeah, so return UI table view cell. And right now we can just build, and let me see if we get any error. Build succeeded. So as you can see here, it's really clean way. Look at that. Each section is handling its own calls. All right. So let me just go ahead and open the configure method over here, which is basically for the collection table view cell. And as you can see here, we are going to set the titles for the collection view cell array over here. Let me just go back or scroll down to the collection view cell that's going to handle each poster for each movie, and I'm going to return actually the titles.count. All right, so instead of just passing the empty string over here, I'm going to pass the titles. I'm going to say index path dot row, and as you can see here, basically I have access to each and every single title over here. So let me just add the poster path over here, and let me just open the configure method over here one more time, And instead of passing the URL over here, I just need to see the URL first. So let me just print the model that we have over here. So let me just build and run this, and let me see what we get. Okay, we have an error, and that is going to be yeah, that is an optional string for now. So let me just guard let right poster, or let me just say model is going to be equal to titles index path dot row dot poster path, which is basically the reason I'm having an error over here, because the poster path, if you remember, is just an optional string. All right, so let me just type else, and over here I'm going just to return a UI collection view cell for now, just to remove the error. And over here, instead of passing this, I'm just going to pass in the model. So before I build and run this, I just need first to type this. So dispatch queue.main.async, and I'm going to explain what I'm doing right now, just a second. So let me just type first week self in, and inside this function, I'm going to reference my collection view self.collectionView.reload data. So basically, we have retrieved the titles in earlier within the home view controller, and then we updated the title array that we have over here. But since that array has been updated in an async function, we need to reload the data for the collection view inside the main thread, and this is why I'm typing here dispatch queue.main.async. So let me just build and run this, and let me see what we have. All right, so basically, as you can see here, since the trending movies is the only row on the screen right now, so basically I have gotten like 1, 2, maybe those are 7 images from the data, and as I scroll here, as you can see, I'm actually retrieving more images. And when I'm scrolling over here for each section as well, as you can see here, basically we are getting the images for each section and each title inside each section, as you can see over here. So let me just go really quick to the movie database API. Let me just open the developers web page over here. It's really easy. So let me just type image. Let me say over here images, and as you can see here, there's a pattern. So basically this is the result that we have retrieved from the data API. So basically we just need to copy the entire thing over here, and basically we are just going to feed the data that we've got instead of the hard-coded value over here. So let me just go back to my title view controller, and here let me just create a new URL. So guard let URL is going to be a URL with a string, and that URL is basically going to be this, and I'm going to pass in the model that I have over here, and else I'm just going to return. So basically, once we have the API ready, we can use that to set the image URL that we have over here. And for the completion, let me just type nil, and let me build and run this. So as you can see here, basically we have all the image for each title, and I believe this is the moment that you guys have been waiting for since the beginning of this series. As you can see here, for each section I have the trending movies, and as you can see here, it's actually updated. And as you can see here, Spider-Man, basically this is the movie that has been trending for like a week over now. Trending TVs, as you can see here, Money Heist, The Witcher, and all that kind of stuff. So let's go to the upcoming view controller over here, and first thing that we need to do is just to set the title. So let me just type title. I'm going to set that to upcoming, and over here I'm just going to type navigation controller, navigation bar, prefers large titles, and I'm going to set that to true. Navigation controller dot navigation item dot large title display mode, and I'm going to set that to always as well. So right now, let me just create a new table. I'm going to call that upcoming table. So private let upcoming table. Let me just type that correctly. upcoming table. That's going to be a UI table view. I'm going to set that with the anonymous closure. We used that so many times at this point in the series. So let me just type table. I'm going to say UI table view. I'm going to register a normal cell for now. So register UI table view cell self. I'm going to set the identifier to be cell, and don't forget to return that table. I'm going to add that table to my view. So view.add subview upcoming table. I'm going to set the delegate for the table view up here as well. So upcoming table delegate is going to be equal to self. Upcoming data source is going to be equal to self as well. I'm going to extend the controller, so extension upcoming view controller. I'm going to set that UI table view delegate, and the upcoming for the data source as well. So UI table view data source. I'm going to implement the two functions over here. So basically return 10 for now. And for this, I'm going to return the delegate function, which is the cell for row. So let's just create a new cell. So let cell is going to be equal to table view. Not that one. So table view dot dequeue with identifier and 4. So let me just type here cell index. For now, I'm just going to say text label dot text. I'm going to set that for test right now. And let me just go ahead and return my cell. So that should be working. So right now, I'm going to hit run, and let me see what I get so far. Okay, so as you can see here, we have the home view controller. Nothing has changed. Let me just go to the coming soon, and as you can see here, I have my upcoming title, and when I scroll, there's nothing to be scrolled at right now because we haven't laid the table yet. So let me just go ahead and implement that function. So did lay subview. I'm going to say super.view did layout subview upcoming table. Let me just say that upcoming table dot frame that is going to be equals to view dot bounds. Let me hit run one more time. All right, so as you can see here, we have the title, we have our 10 cells ready. So right now, let me just reuse the function that we've used earlier in the upcoming, or I'm sorry, in the home view controller. So let me just create a new function over here. So private func fetch upcoming, and I'm going to implement that function. So I'm going to call the API caller dot shared get upcoming movies, and I'm going to switch on the results. So switch result, and I'm going to type in here case success. Let me just retrieve those titles. Okay, and in here I'm going to assign that to a local variable that I'm going to call titles as well. So let me just go up in here, private var titles. That is going to be an array of title. I'm going to initialize that array, so that is going to be empty for now. All right, and over here, just to avoid any memory leaks, so I'm just going to type weak self, and over here I'm just going to reference that back. So basically self dot titles, that is going to be titles. And over here as well, I'm just going to reload the data. So self dot upcoming table dot reload data, and I'm just going to put that inside an async function so that we make sure that is going to be executed on the main thread. So let me just type dispatch queue dot main dot async, and I'm going to add that line of code in here so that we don't get any errors. Let me just go back in here at the number of rows. I'm going just to return titles dot count, and over here I'm just going to set that one more time over here. Let me just type titles. Let me just see here. Yeah, titles. Okay, I'm going to access the index path of row, and as you can see here, What do we have? Okay, something is wrong. Oh, I'm sorry. This is we just misspelled the word, so we have it right now. So titles, let me just fix that as well. So titles, and let me just go ahead one more time, and as you can see here we have the original name, and since this is an optional, we can say a default value, which is basically going to be also titles index path dot row, and I'm just going to access the original title, and if neither of those available, I'm going to assign that to unknown, and let's hope that we don't actually reach to that point. And let me fix the error up here because I have a misspelled word. So return titles dot count, and I believe everything is done right here. Oh, we have to basically handle the other case, which is going to be the failure. Let me just retrieve the error over here. It's really easy tutorial, to be honest. I'm going to just print the error, not localized description. All right, build and run, and let me see what do I get so far. And as you can see here, I get nothing. Why? Because actually we have created the function, but we forgot to call the function itself. So let me just paste in that here. Let me call the function, and let me hit build and run, and let me see what do I get so far. All right, so basically I have a list over here. It has all the names for each title, and basically the thing that we need to do right now is just we need to create a custom cell so that we preview the title. We want to preview the play button, and also we wanted to preview the poster for the cell. So let me just go back to my views. Let me just create a new file that is going to be a Cocoa Touch class. I'm going to create actually a UI table view cell. Let me call that maybe title table view cell. All right, and for the language, I'm just going to make sure that it's going to be created with Swift. All right, so let me create this. So right now I have an empty cell, so let me just type the static let identifier, and that is going to be the name of the class that we have. So title table view cell. Let me just paste in that in here. Let me initialize that with the normal constructor. I'm sorry. So I'm going to pass the style and the reusable identifier as well. And over here, I'm just going to add the other required initializer. I'm going to say fatal error. And over here, I'm just going to implement the views that I'm going to create. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just going to have a UI image so that it holds the poster for the title that we retrieved from the server. So let me just type private let title poster UI image view, which is going to be the type. I'm going to use the same anonymous closure, so let image view, that's going to be an image view. All right, so image view dot content mode, I'm going to set that to maybe yeah, scale aspect fit image view. Yeah, I'm going to return the image view for now. Okay, basically we need to add this for the cells, so let me type content view dot add subview. I'm going to add the title poster UI image view. All right, next thing that we need is just a label that it's going to hold the title name. So let me just type private let title label, not titles, it's only title label, and that is going to be a type of UI label. All right, so let label is going to be equal to UI label. I'm going to return the label for now, and if we need to do anything, we're going to add that later. So let me just yeah, I'm going to basically use the content auto layout. So I'm going to activate that. So label dot translates auto resizing masking into constraints. I'm going to set that to false. I'm going to use that as well with the image view. So instead of a label, I'm going to type image view. I'm going to add the label to my content view as well. So content view dot add some view, title label. What do I need next? I believe it's going to be a button. So let me just type in here private let play title button. This is going to be a UI button. I'm going to initialize that. So let button is going to be UI button. I'm going to return that button as well, but I'm going to activate the auto layout attribute. So basically button dot translate auto resizing mask, it's false. I'm going to run that or call that to be exact, and also I'm going to add that to my content view, add some view. I'm going to add my button over here. Alright, so basically make a new function over here. I'm going to call that apply constraints. Alright, so let me just go ahead and create that function. So private func create constraints, and the first constraint that I'm going to have is basically the poster and the title label and also the button. So let me just type in here let I'm going to copy the name of this variable over here. I'm going to add constraints as well. So constraints, that's going to be an array. Let me copy that one, paste that one more time. So basically I'm going to constrain the leading anchor to be constrained with the content view dot leading anchor as well. I'm going to set the top anchor to be constrained with the I believe it's going to be with the content view as well, with this going to be the top anchor. I'm just going to add some margin at top. Maybe it's going to be 15 points. All right, titles, poster image view dot bottom anchor dot constrain also to the content view dot bottom anchor. I'm just going to reverse that to be -15. And for the width, so let me just choose maybe 100 point. And over here I'm just going to activate this constraints. Okay, and also I'm going to create oh, I'm sorry, I forgot the separator over here. I'm just going to create a public function. I'm going to call that configure with model. I'm just going to pass the view model over here that was going actually to hold the poster, the label, and that's it, I guess. So basically let's type title, title view model. We don't have this yet. So basically let's just choose the image view that we have and as the set image with the URL. And over here I'm just going to add this URL. So let URL, I'm sorry, guardlet URL is going to be a URL. I'm going to call that with a string over here. So basically I'm going to pass model dot poster URL. All right, so else return. Okay, and I'm going to pass the URL over here. For the completion, I'm going to pass nil. And what else do we need to do? Basically, we just need to set the title as well. So basically, title label dot text, that is going to be from our model dot title name. Okay, I'm just going to change the Pascal this. Okay, so title name. So let me just go to my view model over here. Let me create a new file. This is going to be a Swift file, and let me just type title view model. All right, that is going to be a structure title view model. Let me just type let title name. That is going to be a string, and let poster URL, that's going to be a string as well. All right, so I guess that's it for now. So let me just make sure that we have everything set up over here. The poster path is a string as well, so we can go back to my title table view. This error is going to go away right now. So basically we have our cell setup. Let's just complete adding the constraints. So I'm going to copy that because it's title label. It's a good practice actually to have a consistent naming convention. So title label constraints. All right, that's going to be equal to an array of constraints. So basically title label dot leading anchor dot constraints. I'm going to add that next to the poster. So basically poster title poster image view dot trailing anchor, and that is going to be next to the poster by maybe 20 points. All right, so title label dot center y, I'm going to constrain that with the cell itself. So basically content view dot center y anchor. I believe that's it for the constraints for the labels. So let me just activate this constraints as well. So ns layout activate title label constraints. And okay, so let me just go back to my upcoming view controller. Instead of just registering a normal cell, let me just type title table view cell. I'm going to access the identifier. So title table view cell dot identifier. And over here, I'm just going to dequeue this cell. So let me just type guard. Let cell is going to be equal to table view dot dequeue for the identifier title table view cell dot identifier for the index path as title table view cell. Else, I'm going just to return a normal cell for now. UI table view cell. All right, and over here I'm just going to access that. So cell, as you can see here, we have the configure. The configure expects to have a title view model. So let me just give that to the function. So it expects the title name and the title poster, and we can easily access that using the titles array that we have. Index path dot row, and over here you can see basically we can actually define that over here. So title is going to be titles dot index path dot row, and over here I'm just going to add the title dot original title, maybe if it's not there, so title dot original name. And for the poster URL, I'm just going to access the title as well, and I believe it's here under the path dot the poster path. And actually I'm going to return that cell, and before I hit run, I just discovered that we are only adding the path after the URL. So I'm going to copy that from the view that we made earlier at the home view controller, but that that needs to be unwrapped first. But for now we can just add or fix that with the normal over here. So basically we just need to add the default value as well, so unknown title name. So let me just go back to my collection table view cell, I believe. Basically, let me just, basically I'm going to copy that line over here. All right, and let me just go back to my title table. Let me just go to the line that I'm going to set the URL. So let me just paste that in here. copy this model.poster URL. Instead, I'm going to add this model.poster URL. Let me just delete that. I believe we have everything set up over here. Let me just hit run and let me see what do I get. I believe that there's an error. Let me just see what is the error over here. Yeah, basically we just need to add a default value, which is going to be an empty string. Let me type build and run. Coming soon. And yeah, there's something wrong with the with the cell, but clearly we see here the title, the poster, and basically we just need to fix the height of the row. So let me just type in here row height, or height for row. Let's just return maybe 90. Let me just build and run one more time. Let me see what do I get. Coming soon. All right, so we're getting somewhere. So I believe I'm just going to modify or just play around with the numbers over here. So yeah, I believe that is okay. All right, so we can actually increase that maybe to 140. Let me see what do I get at the end. So let me just go back in here. Yeah, it's getting better and better. You can just play around with this. Let me just add the button over here. I've made the button, I believe. So let me just make sure that I have the cell over here. So title, table, view cell. I have the button. Let me just go and set the image. And this is going to be a system image. I believe it's going to be play.circle. And this is going to be for normal right now. Adding this, so let me just add the constraints for that as well. So let me just copy the name. Let me just over here create new constraints for that button. Okay, and I'm going to set the trailing anchor to be exact. So the trailing anchor is going to be set from the constraint actually with the trailing anchor of the cell itself. So let me just content view dot trailing anchor, and I'm going to add a constant which is going to be -20. I'm going to add the constraints to fix it at the middle of the cell as well. So center y anchor is going to be constrained with the content view dot center y anchor as well. I'm just going to activate this. So activate play title button constraints. So let me just hit build and run and let me see. All right, we're getting much closer to the finished product. Let me just go back in here. Let me just button dot tint color, that is going to be white. And actually I'm going to change the size of the image. So let me just get the image over here. So let me just copy that. All right, so I have the image, and over here I'm just going to say with configuration UI image. Okay, dot symbol configuration, I believe. Yeah, and over here I can just change the point size, maybe 40, and let me pass the image over here. Let me build and run and let me see what do I get. Okay, yeah, basically that's it. So I'm just going to play around with the size of the button as well over here. So yeah, basically that's it. Just go to the poster and type image view dot clips to bounds and set that to true, and that will prevent each poster from overflowing the container. And also we can just decrease the padding just a little bit, maybe to 10 instead of 15, and then let me test that to see if that is working. And yes, everything is fixed right now. You can see here that each poster has like 10 points up and bottom. So basically everything is fixed regarding the upcoming tab. And now let's just go ahead and move to the top search. So basically the top search is going to have the same functionality that the upcoming tab has. So first of all, let me just copy those 3 lines over here. All right, and let me paste that over here, and we can just change that to search. Let me hit build and run to see if it's working. And as you can see here, all right, so the next thing that we need to do right now is just we want to have a table view so that we can display maybe a discover tab for the user before the user enters a query to search for. So maybe he wants to discover what is trending right now, or what he might be interested at. So let me just go ahead and define my table. Basically we can copy the same table over here. I just wanted to make this really quick, so let's just copy that, go back in here, and let's just paste that. Maybe I'm gonna call that discover table. All right, and that is going to have the same title table view cell, which is basically why I've made it like a generic one so that we can reuse it in so many places. As you can see here, once in the upcoming tab and the other in the search view. All right, so over here, let me just clear that space, and let me add that as a sub view. So discover table, and over here I'm going to set the layout. So layout, so view.layout subviews, super.view.layout subviews, and I'm going to give that a frame with the bounds of the view itself. So view the bounds. All right, and also over here, just make sure to set the delegate and the data source for the table view to be that controller, so that we can implement all the functions that we're gonna use to pass the data and also pass the number of rows. So discover table dot delegate is going to be equal to self. Discover table dot data source also going to be equal to self. All right, let's just go down there, extension search view controller, and let me type UI table view data source, UI table view delegate. All right, just a second, UI table. All right, so first thing that we need to implement is the number of rows. For now, let me just return 10, and cell for row also. Maybe I'm gonna be returning a cell right now. So we have the cell, so let's just do guard let cell is gonna be equal to table view DQ cell with identifier. I believe it's title table view cell dot identifier for index path as title table view cell, and else we're gonna return a normal UI to table view cell. All right, and over here let me just return the cell for now, because actually we don't have data yet. Okay, so let me just go really quick to the movie database. Maybe we can find the method that we're looking for. Maybe we can find the method that we're looking for. I believe it's called discover. So let me just go to the website and type in here, maybe discover, yeah, movie discover over here, and we can just scroll down until we see try it out. You can just add the attributes that you want to search or to query the database with. Let's say, for example, that you're looking for specific region, specific language, and also you can just put your API key over here and test that out, and it's gonna give you the results. So basically, let me just copy that out. All right, and let me go back to my API caller. We're gonna add a new function over here. All right, so let me just type func get discover movies. All right, and let me just copy that signature over here. I'm gonna make that really quick. And also basically we're gonna implement the same functionality over here. So let me just do that. Let's just copy that. Basically we just need to write. So let me just go ahead and paste the URL over here. All right, so basically we're gonna have the same constant base URL, and we want to pass our API key instead of the top rated. I'm just going to add the same stuff over here. So let me just go ahead and delete that and make sure that I have the same constant base URL. All right, so I'm going to copy all that and paste that in here. Just a second. All right, so let me just delete that. I don't need it anymore. And instead of the API key over here, I can just pass the one I have. So let me just do that, constants dot API key. And as you can see here, everything's set up. We can use the discover movies function. All right, it looks clean. All right, so let me just go back to my upcoming, it's the search view controller, and let me just define a new variable over here. So private var titles, and we can just copy that from here. All right, and then we can use the same function. So fetch discover movies. Let's just define that function over here. So private func, I'm going to basically call the API caller dot shared dot get discover movies, and for the result I'm going to switch on that, switch result. All right, switch result, case success. Let me get those titles, and let me assign those titles over here to the titles array that we have. So titles, okay, we're gonna do this week self. So self.titles is gonna be equal to titles. And over here, we just need to set that on the main thread as well. So let me just do dispatch queue.main.async. And over here, I'm just going to reference my table. So discover table dot reload data. And over here, I'm just going to handle the other case really quick. So failure, let error is going to be just simple print statement. All right, so now we have everything set up over here, and let me just go ahead and use that variable that we made and get the count for it, so that we have the number of rows that we're going to be using. We can also set the cell.configure. I believe we have that. The title view model, we're gonna define that over here. So let model is gonna be equal to title view model, and the title name is going to be all right, so we can pass that in here. And here, let me just get the title. Let title is gonna be equal to titles, right, index path, the row, and now we have the title. So basically title dot maybe the title name. If that is not available, let me just pass in here the title dot the original name. Yeah, no. The title, original title, yes. And if it's not available, let me just pass unknown name. And over here, let me just pass in the poster path. All right, so everything's set up over here. And yeah, let me just add a default empty string over here, because that is going to be an optional. And before we hit build and run, let me just fix something really quick before we get the same error that we had before with the with the upcoming view controller, basically, which is the height for row. And let's just return the same number that we returned at the upcoming view controller, which is 140. So let me just return 140. Let me just hit build and run, and let me see the results that we get so far. All right, so the home controller working fine. The upcoming tab is also working fine, and the search tab is also working fine. And first of all, I'm just going to create a new file. This is going to be a new view controller of type Coco Touch class, and let me call that search results. And basically, that is going to be the controller responsible for viewing the data that we're going to retrieve from the database server once we completed our query. So let me just delete all of that. We're not going to need that. And also I'm just going to give that a new background color so that we can verify that is working. So let me just choose